Former Republican Speaker of the House John Boehner sifts through the remains of the Republican Party he once knew in his new memoir, On the House. In it, he takes on disruptors in his own party as well as on the left. We spoke this afternoon about where that leaves things politically. You're very critical in this book of Donald Trump. If he wants the 2024 Republican nomination, do you think he will win it?
I have no idea. I think there'll be a lot of people running for the Republican nomination in 2024, and it's a long way off.
Do you think, though, that the support is still there, that the party that he left will be around in 2024?
Well, I think that remains to be seen. I've encouraged Republicans to act like Republicans, stick to the principles of the Republican Party. Fiscal responsibility, a strong military, things that traditional Republicans believe in, because I think uniting the party around a set of principles is long and more enduring than around some personality.
In this book, you're critical of those, you say, who came along and really wanted to blow things up, get to Congress and blow things up. Others say that you were a little bit a part of that. How do you respond?
Well, I don't. People are going to be critical. I have my hands full with some of our members. There's members on both sides of the aisle who are more interested in making noise, drawing attention to themselves, raising money, than they are about governing. If we're going to get things done for our country, we've got to find a way to work together to achieve that.
Let me ask you about President Biden. He came to office on a pledge of creating bipartisanship, working with both sides. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard the campaign promises, just like you and your audience did. And up to this point, he's got his own problems in the Democrat Party, but he's caving to the left at the expense of working with Republicans and trying to find some bipartisan common ground.
You go after Republicans and Democrats in this book. Do you think politics as we know it is broken?
Well, America is very divided, more divided than any time in my lifetime. And as a result, members of Congress reflect the loudest voices in their party. We'll get through this. We're Americans. We're the most resilient people God ever put on earth. But we're going through a tough time.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.